You canceled plans again, not because you were sick, not because something came up, but because the idea of staying home alone felt genuinely better than going out. And the worst part? You felt relief. Not guilt. Relief. Society has a word for you. Antisocial. Cold. Broken. Your family asks if you're okay. Your friends stop inviting you. And somewhere along the way, you started believing them. You started thinking that something was wrong with you. But psychology says something completely different. The people who actually enjoy their own company aren't damaged. They aren't lonely. They aren't afraid of people. They have developed something most humans spend their entire lives chasing and never find: a relationship with themselves that doesn't require an audience. Today we're going to break down 7 rare psychological traits that explain why you genuinely prefer your own company. And by the end, you'll understand that what looks like isolation from the outside is actually one of the most advanced forms of emotional intelligence that exists. Let me know in the comments right now. Do you actually enjoy being alone, or does silence make you uncomfortable? Trait number 1. Your nervous system is simply wired differently. Most people experience something psychologists call stimulus hunger, a biological drive to constantly seek external input: noise, conversation, movement, validation. Their nervous system treats silence like a threat. And so they fill every quiet moment with music, with scrolling, with talking, with anything that creates the feeling that life is moving. But yours doesn't work that way. Research on introversion and cortical arousal suggests that people who prefer solitude already operate at a higher baseline level of internal stimulation. Your brain is louder on the inside, more active, more self-generating. You don't need to party because the party is already happening in your head. This isn't a flaw in your wiring. It's a different operating system, a rarer one. And once you understand that, you stop trying to fix something that was never broken. Trait number 2. You have a high tolerance for ambiguity. Most people need constant social feedback to know how they're doing. Did they laugh? Did they approve? Was that weird? They use other people as mirrors to calibrate their reality. Without that mirror, they feel invisible, uncertain, anxious. You don't. Psychologists call this internal locus of evaluation, the ability to assess yourself from the inside without needing the outside world to confirm you. When you're alone, there's no mirror, no feedback loop, no social noise. For most people, that's terrifying. For you, it's clarifying. You can sit in uncertainty and not collapse. You can spend an entire evening with no external validation and wake up the next morning still knowing exactly who you are. That is an extraordinarily rare psychological strength. Most adults never develop it. They spend their whole lives outsourcing their self-worth to other people's reactions. Trait number 3. You process the world at a deeper level. Here's something neuroscience has confirmed. People who are comfortable alone tend to engage more heavily in what researchers call default mode network activity, the brain's internal processing system that activates during rest and solitude. This network is responsible for self-reflection, creative thinking, long-term planning, and making sense of complex emotions. Every time you sit alone with your thoughts instead of escaping into noise, you're doing cognitive work that most people actively avoid. You are not wasting time. You are running deep maintenance on your inner world, the kind of thinking that leads to real insight, real creativity, and real self-knowledge. The people around you might see someone doing nothing. What's actually happening is the opposite. Your mind is doing the most sophisticated work it knows how to do. Trait number 4. You protect your energy because you understand it's finite. There's a concept in psychology called ego depletion. The idea that self-regulation, social performance, and emotional labor all draw from the same limited cognitive resource. Every conversation costs something. Every room you walk into where you have to manage impressions and read dynamics cost something. People who prefer their own company aren't antisocial. They're energetically honest. They have learned, often through exhaustion, that showing up fully in the world requires recovery, and recovery requires solitude. Think about the person at the party who is laughing loudest and leaving earliest. That's not introversion. That's a body rationing its resources. You figured that out before most people did. And now you protect your energy the same way a professional athlete protects their body before competition. Not because you're weak, because you understand the game. Trait number 5. You have a rich and self-sustaining inner world. Psychologists who study creative genius consistently find one trait that separates truly original thinkers from everyone else. Not IQ, not education. Comfort with internal experience. The ability to be alone without distraction, to let ideas collide, to follow a thought to its end without someone interrupting it. That is where original thinking is born. Da Vinci filled notebooks alone. Tesla described his best work as coming not from collaboration, but from long periods of solitary mental simulation. Einstein's greatest breakthroughs were thought experiments done entirely inside his own head, in silence, without an audience. You have that same capacity. The difference is that nobody ever told you it was valuable. Nobody ever said that your preference for your own company was the exact condition that produced some of the greatest thinking in human history. But it was, and it still is. Trait number 6. You are harder to manipulate. This one will surprise you, but it's backed by social psychology research. People who are uncomfortable alone are significantly more susceptible to peer pressure, social conformity, and emotional manipulation because they need the group. And when you need the group, you will adjust your behavior, your beliefs, and sometimes even your values to stay inside it. You will laugh at things you don't find funny. You will agree with opinions you don't actually hold. You will shrink yourself to fit a space that was never designed for you. You don't have that vulnerability because you've proven to yourself repeatedly that you can exist outside the group, that solitude is survivable, even enjoyable. That means you make decisions based on your own judgment, not based on fear of exclusion. In a world designed to manipulate you through belonging and social approval, that psychological independence is armor, real armor. Trait number 7. You know the difference between loneliness and solitude, and most people never do. Loneliness is the pain of unwanted isolation. It means you want connection, and you don't have it. It is a wound. It hurts in a specific, hollow way that no amount of distraction can fully cover. Solitude is the choice to be alone. It means you're filling your own cup on your own terms by your own design. It is not a wound. It is a skill. And like any skill, it took time to develop. It required you to sit in silence long enough to stop being afraid of it, to stop running from your own thoughts, to build an inner world stable enough to actually live in. The psychologist Esther Buchholz spent her career studying this distinction. She argued that the capacity for solitude is not a sign of emotional damage. It is a sign of emotional completion. The person who can be alone without suffering has developed a relationship with themselves that doesn't require constant external reinforcement. That is not isolation. That is wholeness. So the next time you cancel plans and feel that quiet relief, don't pathologize it. Don't call it a red flag. Don't force yourself into noise you don't need just to prove to other people that you're normal. It is your nervous system telling you that you have built something rare, an inner world stable enough to live in, rich enough to explore, strong enough to return to, no matter how loud the outside world gets. Most people spend their whole lives running from silence because they're afraid of what they'll find there. You ran toward it, and you found yourself. That is not antisocial. That is advanced. Drop a number in the comments from 1 to 7, the trait that hit the closest to home. I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of why you think and feel the way you do, subscribe right now. Because on this channel, we don't just describe behavior. We decode it.